Hello everyone, I'm Aditya Hegde and I'll be presenting joint work with Ashish Chaudhary titled High Throughput Secure Multi-Party Computation over Small Population in Hybrid Networks. Our aim is to initiate a study of concretely efficient protocols in asynchronous and partially synchronous networks. Secure multi-party computation allows a set of mutually distrusting parties to evaluate a function on their private inputs. MPC protocols are equivalent to parties using a trusted third party that receives the party's inputs, evaluates the function, and sends the output back to the parties. MPC over small population has recently gained a lot of attention since its simplicity and efficiency allows for practical application in areas like privacy preserving machine learning and server aided computation. In our work, we consider four parties, out of which at most one is corrupted. The corrupted party is controlled by a malicious adversary that can cause the party to crash or arbitrarily deviate from the protocol. As in most works on MPC, we assume that all parties are connected by pairwise private and authentic communication channels. Prior works mainly consider synchronous networks, where parties are synchronized by a global clock and there exists a publicly known upper bound on message delay. Thus, if a round starts at T1 and the receiver does not receive the message after T1 plus the upper bound delta, the receiver can conclude without doubt that the sender is corrupted. Asynchronous networks, on the other hand, don't have any synchronization. The adversary schedules the messages and can arbitrarily delay them. The only guarantee is that the message is eventually delivered. Thus, a receiver can't distinguish between a delayed message and a message that hasn't been sent. This means that the receiver can wait for messages from at most n-t parties at each step, since corrupted parties might not send any message. Asynchronous networks are a better model for the real world because networks like the internet do not have a well-defined upper bound on message delay. Synchronization is also a hard problem in the real world due to issues like clock drift. If honest parties have small channel delays, then asynchronous protocols run faster than synchronous protocols since messages from all parties are not required to proceed to the next step. However, asynchronous MPC protocols have lower fault tolerance than their synchronous counterparts. Moreover, since it's impossible to differentiate between a delayed message and an unsent message in this setting, asynchronous MPC protocols suffer from input deprivation, where inputs of up to T parties might be ignored during evaluation. Thus, only an approximation of the function can be evaluated. Hybrid networks attempt to get around the drawbacks of asynchronous networks by having our initial synchronous rounds followed by completely asynchronous computation. In this work, we also assume the presence of a broadcast channel in the first synchronous rounds. Our contributions include a perfectly secure MPC protocol over hybrid networks with two initial synchronous rounds, which is the first protocol in this setting. A cryptographically secure MPC protocol over hybrid networks with one initial synchronous round, and a cryptographically secure MPC protocol over asynchronous networks. Our MPC protocols over hybrid networks use the optimal number of synchronous rounds. Our cryptographically secure MPC protocols improve upon prior works by avoiding public key cryptography and zero knowledge proofs and rely only on symmetric key cryptography. All our protocols provide optimal resilience and guaranteed output delivery, where honest parties receive the output irrespective of the adversary's behavior. Finally, we also implement and benchmark our asynchronous MPC protocol. We represent the function f to be evaluated as an arithmetic circuit over a finite field consisting of addition and multiplication gates. We use the shared circuit evaluation approach where the value on each wire is maintained in a secret shared form. In contrast to circuit garbling techniques, shared circuit evaluation has high throughput due to a relatively lower communication complexity and is suitable for low latency networks since parties interact over a number of rounds during the protocol. We use a linear secret sharing scheme where linear combinations of the secret can be computed locally by operating on the shares. Thus, addition gates can be evaluated locally by making use of the linearity of the secret sharing scheme. On the other hand, parties will need to interact for evaluating a multiplication gate. We make use of a random and private multiplication triple, say x, y, and z, where z is x times y, for multiplying two secret shared values e and f. E and f are first padded with x and y, and the resulting shares are reconstructed. The share of the product EF can then be expressed as a linear combination of the reconstructed values and the input secret shares. This linear combination can then be computed locally. We denote this approach of multiplying two secret shares as the protocol Beaver. So given a linear secret sharing scheme, the missing ingredient for an MPC protocol is a protocol to generate random and private multiplication triples. We use the triple generation framework of Chaudhary and Patra, where parties first share a random multiplication triple using a triple sharing protocol. While the triple sharing protocol guarantees that the shared triplet is indeed a multiplication triple, the underlying secrets are known to the party that shared it. We then use a randomness extraction protocol called the triple extraction protocol to extract a new multiplication triple. This new triple is guaranteed to also be random and private. We'll now discuss our perfectly secure hybrid MPC protocol, and our focus will be on the construction of the triple sharing and triple extraction protocols. Patra and Ravi talk about an open problem of constructing an MPC protocol over hybrid networks with two synchronous rounds, tolerating one-third corruption, and having access to a synchronous broadcast channel that achieves guaranteed output delivery. They also show that it's impossible to achieve input provision where inputs of all parties are considered for function evaluation. We make some progress in solving this problem by providing a protocol in this setting for the case of 4 parties and 1 corruption. We use the replicated secret sharing scheme, which has been used in a number of other works on MPC for small parties due to its efficiency and simplicity. A sharing of the secret S corresponds to a tuple of 4 random elements under the constraint that the sum of the elements is equal to the secret. These elements are distributed among the parties to make sure that the ith party does not have the element Si, ensuring that the secret is private. Moreover, every party other than the ith party has Si. It's easy to see that the sharing is linear since the secret can be multiplied by a publicly known constant C by multiplying each element of the share by C, and the sum of two secrets can be computed by adding the corresponding elements of the share. To reconstruct a secret, all parties with the element Si send it to the ith party. The ith party waits to receive two identical copies and then computes the sum of its share element and the received Si. Reconstruction is completely asynchronous since at least two of the other parties are honest and will always send the correct Si. To share a secret, we use a verifiable secret sharing with party elimination protocol with the following functionality. If an honest party sends a secret S to the trusted third party, then the trusted third party sends the replicated secret share of S to each party. However, the adversary can input up to two honest parties, upon which the trusted third party sends a set of size at most 3, called the dispute set, to all parties. The dispute set is guaranteed to contain the corrupted party. In case of a corrupted dealer, the adversary can change the underlying secret, but the output is a valid replicated secret sharing if there is no dispute set. The VSS with party elimination protocol proceeds by requiring the dealer to send each party's secret share in the first synchronous round. If the dealer is honest, then the share elements with the same subscript should be equal. In parallel, the parties also exchange two random pads with every other party, corresponding to each common element in their share. In the second round, the parties use the synchronous broadcast channel to broadcast masked shares. The random pads exchanged in the previous round are used to mask the shares. In case of P1 and P2, for example, P1 would broadcast its share element A3 padded with the value sent by P2 as well as the value it sent to P2. Broadcasting the masked share ensures that the privacy of the secret is preserved. Finally, parties check if the broadcasted values are consistent. Similar to P1, P2 would have broadcasted B3 masked with the value it sent to P1 as well as the pad sent by P1. Thus, if the broadcasted elements are not equal, then A3 is not equal to B3. Either one of the parties with the inconsistent broadcast is corrupted and is lying about its share, or the dealer has sent an invalid secret sharing. Thus, the dispute set consists of the dealer as well as the parties with the inconsistencies. If there are no inconsistencies, then it follows that the secret sharing is valid. We use the VSS with party elimination protocol for constructing a triple sharing protocol with party elimination. The functionality we hope to achieve is that if an honest dealer sends the value x, y to the trusted third party, the trusted third party sends the shares of the triple x, y and x times y to each party. However, once again, an adversary can input at most two honest parties, upon which the dealer sends a dispute set of size at most 3, guaranteed to contain the corrupted party. The triple transform functionality will be repeatedly used in the triple sharing and triple extraction protocols. It essentially allows transforming random triples to correlated but random triples. The parties send their shares for 2k plus 1 triples to the trusted third party, and the trusted third party outputs a possibly different set of 2k plus 1 triples such that the first element of all the triples lie on a polynomial fa of degree k. The second element of all the triples lie on a polynomial fb of degree k, and the last element of all the triples lie on a polynomial fc of degree 2k. Evaluating the three polynomials on input I gives the ith output triple. Moreover, if the ith input triple is a multiplication triple, that is zi is xi times yi, then the ith output triple is also a multiplication triple. This means that the polynomial fc is fa times fb if all 2k plus 1 input triples are multiplication triples. Finally, the adversary learns the ith output triple if and only if it knows the ith input triple. Chaudhary and Patra provide a completely asynchronous instantiation of the triple transform functionality in their work. We'll be using the triple transform protocol to construct a protocol for the triple sharing with party elimination functionality, which was discussed previously. The dealer first samples 3 random pairs of values and computes their product. These triples will later be used to extract a multiplication triple that is known only to the dealer. All parties also sample a random multiplication triple that will be used for verification of the dealer's triples. The parties secret share all the locally sampled values in parallel using the VSS with party elimination protocol. The two available synchronous rounds are used up by the secret sharing protocol, and all further computation will be done in the asynchronous phase. If any instance of the secret sharing protocol outputs a dispute set, then the parties output the dispute set as part of the triple share protocol too and halt. Next, the dealer's multiplication triples are transformed into correlated triples using the triple transform protocol. The parties evaluate the polynomials fa, fb and fc on input 4 in secret shared form to output the triple a4, b4 and c4. This is a linear operation and can be computed locally using methods like Lagrange interpolation. Now, if the dealer is honest, then Ci will correspond to the product of Ai and Bi, but this might not be true for a corrupted dealer. We use the verification triples shared by each party to verify that the dealer's triples are indeed multiplication triples. The verification proceeds by using the ith verification triple to compute the product of Ai and Bi using the Beaver protocol. The resulting product C' of I is subtracted from Ci and the difference is reconstructed to check if it is 0. If it is not 0, then either the ith triple shared by the dealer or the verification triple shared by the ith party is not a multiplication triple. In this case, the parties output a dispute set consisting of the dealer and the ith party, since one of them is guaranteed to be corrupt. If the verification of all the triples shared by the dealer passes successfully, then fc is the product of fa and fb. This follows from the fact that fc is a polynomial of degree 2 and the triples of at least 3 honest parties have been used to verify the dealer's transform triples. The parties then evaluate fa, fb and fc in secret shared form on input 5 and output the resulting triple. This is guaranteed to be private since the adversary knows at most one value on the 1-degree polynomials fa and fb. It is also guaranteed to be a multiplication triple since fc is the product of fa and fb. Now that each party can share a verified multiplication triple using the triple sharing with party elimination protocol, we aim to extract a random and private multiplication triple and complete the triple generation protocol. The protocol is quite simple given the triple transform protocol. Three parties each share a verified multiplication triple using the triple sharing protocol. If any instance of the protocol outputs a dispute set, each party outputs the same dispute set and halts. The multiplication triples are then transformed into correlated triples using the triple transform protocol. Since all input triples are multiplication triples, the output triples are guaranteed to be multiplication triples too. We make use of the multiplicative relation of the underlying polynomials and output the secret shared evaluation of the polynomials at input 4 as a random and private multiplication triple. Secrecy follows from the fact that at most one of the three parties are corrupted and the underlying polynomials for ai and bi are degree 1 each. Now that we have a protocol for generating multiplication triples, we can piece everything together for the MPC protocol. The MPC protocol has three phases. In the triple generation phase, a number of multiplication triples are generated in parallel using the triple generation protocol. In the input phase, parties secret share their inputs using the secret sharing protocol. The triple generation phase and the input phase require the two synchronous rounds and are run in parallel. The triple generation phase continues to run in an asynchronous manner after the two initial synchronous rounds. If the secret sharing and triple generation protocol terminate without outputting a dispute set, then the parties can start the circuit evaluation phase. Addition gates are evaluated locally, while multiplication gates are evaluated using the Beaver protocol. Finally, the shares on the output wires are reconstructed to receive the output. An instance of the triple generation or secret sharing protocol can also output a dispute set. In this case, the party that is excluded from the dispute set is guaranteed to be honest. The remaining parties send their inputs to the honest party, which takes on the role of a trusted third party to locally compute the function and send the output back to the parties. However, since this occurs in the asynchronous phase, the trusted third party can wait for inputs of at most two parties, which leads to input deprivation. For the cryptographically secure MPC protocol over hybrid networks, we make use of a symmetry key setup for pseudorandom functions, similar to prior works. The setup assigns every combination of three parties a common key, in addition to a common key across all parties. This key setup helps significantly improve the efficiency of our secret sharing protocol. To share a secret S, the dealer, say P1, samples a common element S1 with all the parties using the common key. P1, P3 and P4 then sample a common element S2 unknown to P2 using their common key. Similarly, P1, P2 and P4 sample a common element S3 unknown to P3. To send the element S4 to P2 and P3, all parties except P4 sample a random pad R using their common key. P1 then uses the synchronous broadcast channel to broadcast S4 after masking it with R. P2 and P3 then compute S4 after unmasking the broadcasted value, which then implies that all parties can compute their share of the secret. Thus, we are able to achieve a one-round synchronous verifiable secret sharing protocol using the symmetric key setup. Working in the cryptographic setting helps optimize the concrete cost of reconstruction too. When reconstructing a list of secrets, two of the parties send the list of SI elements to the ith party, while the third party needs to send only a hash of the elements. The ith party waits to receive two identical lists or for the hash of one of the lists to match that sent by the third party. Once again, reconstruction is completely asynchronous since there are two honest senders whose messages will be consistent. Using our verifiable secret sharing and reconstruction protocols, we construct a triple generation protocol in the cryptographic setting. The triple sharing protocol is similar to that in the perfectly secure setting. The dealer shares 2l plus 1 triples instead of 3 triples, and the remaining parties don't need to share verification triples in this case. The dealer's triples are transformed using the triple transformation protocol. The parties sample a random value r using their common key and evaluate the underlying polynomials in secret shared form. The parties reconstruct the shares and check if fc of r is equal to the product of fa of r and fb of r. If this check holds, then the triples shared by the dealer are indeed multiplication triples with high probability. If the check passes, we evaluate the polynomials on L inputs in secret shared form and output L multiplication triples. If the check does not hold, the parties output L default multiplication triples. The triple generation protocol is similar to that in the perfectly secure setting too. However, an instance of the triple generation protocol outputs L triples, making use of the fact that the triple sharing protocol outputs L triples. Similar to the perfectly secure MPC protocol, the cryptographically secure MPC protocol over hybrid networks has three phases: the triple generation phase, input phase, and circuit evaluation phase. However, in this case, the triple generation phase and the input phase need only one synchronous round. Since a verifiable secret sharing protocol terminates at the end of one round, the MPC protocol in this setting achieves input provision. Circuit evaluation proceeds similar to the perfectly secure setting. The cryptographically secure asynchronous MPC protocol is similar to the cryptographically secure MPC protocol over hybrid networks. Parties use the asynchronous broadcast and agreement on core set protocols to get around the lack of a synchronous broadcast channel. As expected, it is not possible to achieve input provision in this setting. One of our experiments involved inducing a random, possibly large delay on the messages sent by some of the parties. The aim was to verify if asynchronous MPC protocols run at the speed of the underlying network. We call parties with such induced message delays as affected parties. We found that there is negligible change in latency in both the LAN and WAN settings when a single party is affected, since asynchronous protocols require communication from at most 3 parties at each step. The latency increases as more number of parties are affected, since the message delay of honest parties increases too. In case of synchronous networks, a single affected party would have the same latency as the case with 3 or 4 affected parties, since the upper bound on message delay should be large enough to receive inputs of all honest parties. Some future directions to build upon our work is to construct a perfectly secure hybrid MPC protocol with 2 initial synchronous rounds tolerating 1/3 corruptions for any number of parties. Since asynchronous networks are a better model for the real world, bridging the gap between efficiency of synchronous and asynchronous protocols is also an important direction of research. Thank you.